In this presentation, we are first going to be discussing the health, wellbeing and students' mental health from Swinburne University of Technology, which is the sponsor, and research regarding what is already available and obviously how to use this as an asset moving forward to what can be worked on and made better. So the focus for this campaign is to actually reach an audience that is probably not as well considered from the research that I underwent, which is online students, neurodivergent students, LGBTQIA plus students, and female students. And this is all obviously covering a wide range of mental health and promoting awareness for good mental health for this particular demographic in particular. So if we start from the beginning and look at the actual problem, Swinburne, let's be real. So there is fairly good mental health that's encouraged and practiced amongst students, and that will be highlighted during the Mental Health Week. I think in terms of availability, a lack of consideration and support is available for the neurodiverse community regarding mental health, which is it's leaving many students, especially online, without support and understanding of coping mechanisms. So allocating frequent breaks between study and understanding one's body responses can help alleviate some of the added struggle that comes with study in university, as well as creative therapies and an emphasis on me time. So this campaign, in addition to obviously other things that are happening during the week, is promoting awareness around the importance of mental health and management of mental health. It's less to do with the circumstance and more about ways of coping mechanisms and what can be done. And this is going to be for the audience of 18 to 35, predominantly in relation to the students, not necessarily the staff in this case. So we need to have a strategy, and we need to positively present this strategy to help the approach in motivation to the education of other people that are obviously not neurotypical. Neurotypical means that they are not dealing with neurodiverse or in other cases just cis straight gender identifying people. We've got so many other relationary issues. And when it comes to personal understanding of the struggles that these people are going through, including myself, I think it's important that there needs to be a form of education around that. So in this slide, we see that from research, 80% of university students that are affected by mental health illnesses will drop out. And here in the three demographics that I am looking at in particular, it is showing the impact by percentage from the research of how these people are being affected. This slide is explaining the positive impact of art therapy in all forms of creativity, letting people narrate their experiences in a different form. So this can obviously either be from physically creating and painting to listening to music and zoning out for a bit. It can be writing, which is why the newspaper is included in a sense in that way. It can be reading. There's lots of different ways to help cultivate emotional resilience in people. And this is a way that honestly has been researched to be one of the best ways to help reduce stress. As already discussed, the neurodiverse and the LGBTQIA plus and female students are the particular audience, and so we're looking at ways and perspectives that will help them. This is Pete, and Pete is autistic and has a disability dog and selective mutism. This is Akia. Akia is from France, and she also has autism, and she is an online student. And this is Amanda. Amanda lives in Kuala Lumpur, and she is also an online student in a completely different age bracket. and with her own disabilities regarding fibromyalgia and partial blindness. There are clearly complete backgrounds on these personas and people, and in the summary that I've made, these are the major issues that are obviously coming through in terms of mental health. So this slide is showing the research from competitors that has happened, that I've gone through. It's also demonstrating some of the weaknesses that are coming through in these businesses. So there's policies, there's kind of some symbolism of empty goodwill. There's not as much emphasis on disability support, and they're a little bit vague on how and who, and Victorian based only is really an issue when it comes to others that are living in other countries or other states. This is where these companies stand in terms of their audience and engagement, as an example. So from the research of these other companies or competitors, I've been able to put together the multifaceted qualities that are working in ways that obviously these places aren't. So there's a stronger digital component, there's a focus on disability, neurodivergency, and queer communities, and there's also a better understanding of what areas are going to work best for these people. I think this one's pretty obvious. News coverage and social media interactions with a design competition, student participation in designing and creating new activities, global influence of Facebook and using email, and connecting over the internet is going to be the best way for a lot of neurodivergent and introverted and international students, especially regarding language translation and learning. Identifying the need for time out and stress-related pressures of higher education can be addressed by also adopting people's everyday language in the campaign so that they connect better. And using the internet is a major encouragement towards existing online student community and not who the people on campus. It creates a spiderweb effect of a support system. So the Good newspaper, this is a student and union-run campus newspaper, as discussed before. So it will include QR codes for meetings, website links, online constructed content, all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be supportive timeout options with focus on mental health for students and for staff as well, with monthly submissions for artworks and writing pieces to help people realize that they can express what they need to. So the online support extension tree of assistance is going to come through, and the online sources they also allow text-to-speech and links, and it's a really gender-neutral type of audience. The art therapy room, obviously, is going to have its hashtags, its posters, colourful inviting emails, so that people know when the space is available or what kind of content is going to be available in the room on particular dates. There's an automated online system that will link you to the recordings. So what's going to happen is the actual class is going to be therapy directed concepts, but what can happen is people are sitting and chatting and doing their thing, but this is a recording. So those that are online or those that are introverted and can't actually access in person can watch this, especially autistic people can watch this in the background as a form of socialization, so they feel less isolated. I know I've gone over time. I didn't really know how else to kind of squish this down any further because I really tried to articulate what I'm talking about. But thanks for watching. Those are my two ideas for the campaign. I think that the strategy is quite well composed, and we will see where it goes from here.